Meeting to order. Let's do our roll call.
Mr. Ketchup?
Here.
Mr. Markovitz?
Here?
Mr. Petty?
Here.
Mr. Sharma?
Here.
Mrs. Wales?
Here.
Okay, anybody here tonight for public participation that doesn't have a case to talk to us about?
All those
Nope.
people out there.
Okay, well, I'll start with case number one. We'll see if, I don't know if you're here for the first case or the second.
I'm here for Jesse James Pizza.
Okay,
Okay.
that's the second one.
Well, our first case is, I have to do this formally. Case number 24-12-66. It's at 9630 Ravenna Road. It's for Floral Innovation Signage, which,
They did call and say that they were just stuck in the snow a little bit. They'd be a little late,
Oh, okay.
so we'll table that till, we'll go ahead and get your case running and then come back to case number one. Okay, so moving on to case number two, 24-12-67. It's at 1166 or 660 Ravenna Road for Jesse James Pizza Signage. If you could state your name and describe what's going on.
Yes, hello, good evening. My name is Kevin Holliday. I'm from A Sign Above. I am working with Jesse James Pizza on replacing the existing panels that say Reddy's Pizza and replacing her banner that says now open Jesse James Pizza with same material, same size, 1/8 inch polycarbonate. It's actually two signs. That's all of the signs in that plaza are two side-by-side hand-faced polycarbonate signs, and that's what I'm proposing. These signs are 2 feet by 10 feet side by side. So total of the signage is 2 feet by 20 feet wide. I did see, and you guys were looking for the total width of the building frontage, and I went out and measured, and it's 34 feet.
She has 34 feet frontage.
Yes. Yeah. And again, this is going to be the exact same in the existing cabinet. So
Okay.
all I'm proposing is just to swap out the Reddy's Pizza panels with the Jesse James Pizza panels.
What's happening to those existing lights that are there?
What's up with the lights?
Existing lights, yeah.
I wasn't planning on touching them at all.
So you're gonna leave it there as is?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's this.
What are you referring
As far as I know, the lights were
Okay.
fine.
Like it's like a floodlights or whatever they are?
Well, it's probably from a previous.
I think the lights are behind,
Behind the panel.
yes, behind the
Yeah,
panel.
yeah,
For
it's
the
like some
sign.
kind of a floodlight or something.
Yeah, there are some exterior light, I think it's on the pictures we have on the corner, which I guess they're going to be removed. They don't have bulbs in them, so I'm assuming they hadn't been used in a long time.
Oh, I thought I read that. I thought they were coming out. Maybe I did. Maybe I read it wrong.
This isn't a conversation I had with the customer about discussing
For
these
some
at
reason,
all.
they're pointing to that.
At this point, your intent is to leave them, since you,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's just something we never discussed.
okay.
Well, there's not even,
I only
a-
discussed with my customer swapping out the panels, that's it.
it looks like there's not even a lamp in them on this page here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been up there, well, I don't know if you've climbed a ladder up there or you looked at it. in detail.
Mr. Petty, do you mind speaking into the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. The picture I have makes it appear that there's no lamp in that fixture there. And I don't know if that's something you,
I was not planning on addressing that light
okay.
at all.
The sign that you are putting, is it illuminated by any chance? Or is it just a sign by itself?
It's just a sign by itself.
No light bulbs or nothing going
Well,
behind it?
it's-
No
I
No,
thought-
I am not planning on touching the light bulbs at all.
But it is.
There are lights
There's lights
inside
in the
there.
There are
cabinet.
lights
It is an
inside of the sign
illuminated, it
already.
is an illuminated
Right.
sign, the one that's there now.
Yes.
It's got internal illumination.
Correct.
But all
It's
you're
got
doing is replacing the panel on the front, and whatever lighting is currently there stays there like it is.
Correct.
Okay.
That answers my question.
Okay, good.
I imagine those lights are there just to light up the parking lot for safety in the parking lot. Since they already have electrical there, it looks like they put those lights there to light up the parking lot, not the sign.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like it would be projecting out to the parking lot.
We wouldn't mind if they remove it, since there's no bulbs inside, so it's not serving any purposes at this point. Or, I wouldn't be opposed to it, as mandating to remove it.
Unless they put-
If they like to.
Yeah, unless they put the bulbs back in to light up the parking lot.
I thought I read somewhere in here that they were coming out, but obviously, apparently not.
That might have been on the.
That's the front page you're talking about.
Highlighted somehow.
Yeah, I'm wondering why that's there.
Well, that
That's
was.
not your
I
circling
think,
it?
Jason, you did that, right?
Correct, yeah.
Noted them. Was there a reason you were circling them like that?
Just so that you guys could see it if you wanted to make them fix it or repair it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, they look almost like they're mounted more on the frame of the light, you know, the light, the sign itself. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell, you know,
Well, and we don't know the purpose they serve.
yeah.
If it's, like David said, for the lighting of the parking lot, or
Right.
what?
I mean,
The parking lot itself does have illumination,
Yes.
like separate, but that is on that unit.
That's just on that unit?
It is on that unit. I don't know if other units have that or not, but
there's not, I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
didn't see
just
it.
for the parking lot illumination, that's all.
Well, should we ask them,
To remove it.
if they're not using them, should we ask them to remove them? Because in my opinion, it doesn't look too swift
No, it doesn't look
with
good.
empty,
Can we do
unused
that?
fixtures up there.
Recommended?
That's just, feel free to disagree.
Yep.
So if you're not using it, remove it,
Yep.
I
that's,
don't know why we couldn't.
yeah, that's
I mean,
perfect.
we could actually make it part of the thing, say they have to be removed if they're not gonna be used. If they come back, they will make a motion.
Works for me.
The only other thing I wanted to say, we do have, you know, per the sign criteria for the center, there is a signature from the landlord, property owner's signature.
Where is that?
It's on the second page, right behind the,
Oh, I see it. I see it, thank you.
yeah, it's got property owner's signature of acceptance. So we have that, which, so we don't have to ask for
That's
that.
that.
And it doesn't say anything in there. I was a little leery, but it doesn't bother me, but that for years, I guess, all the signs there, and I had thought it might have been something in the sign ordinance or the center sign criteria, that the panels had to be white, because all of them are white. And the one that, that's going in or that you're proposing is, red and orange, well, black and,
It's like a purplish color.
The background is purplish?
Yeah. Like a dark purple.
oh, I was looking at the temporary sign.
But the,
What does a sign?
but the property owner approved it, right?
Well, I mean, it looks,
Or do we want to?
so it's a purple background and then orange lettering.
Yep. And then the phone number, the background is, it's flipped. The background is in orange and the numbers are in purple for the phone.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing in the criteria that states, it can't be logo colors or company colors, for signage, so. But,
Uniformity would be nice to have that in Plaza. I mean, it's gonna look like
yeah,
white background, white background, white background, you got multicolored sign, it's gonna stick out a little bit.
yeah, which is why I wanted to bring up the color thing to see if it bothered anybody else a little bit or not.
It does.
Didn't occur to me.
Well, if the landlord
Maybe that's why they did it.
approves it.
They want it to stick out.
Okay, so are we going to recommend then that they take down these lights unless they have a specific purpose for them?
Yeah.
Mrs. Wills, do you mind speaking into the microphone?
I'm sorry. I was talking about recommending that the lights be taken down if they're not using them for a specific purpose, the ones that are up there. So are we ready for a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve this with the recommendation that the lights be taken down unless they have a specific purpose.
Is that a recommendation or a requirement?
I think it's a recommendation, but
I
if we
would
can
make it a requirement.
make it, okay, so change that to requirement.
You know, unless they can come back, would they have to come back to the board or just to the building department to say, well, we're going to use those lights for this
So
specific?
lights are existing, so they're allowed to use them as existing, that are there now. So they wouldn't have to report back at all. It's just if you guys, however you recommend it, if it's going to be
Either work,
removed if they're not using them, or you're using them and they need to be operable.
Fix it or remove it.
Remove it,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nicely said.
Fix it or remove it.
use them or lose them, I guess.
Okay. So,
Okay.
I second that.
All right. Mrs. Wales?
yes,
Mr. Cottrip?
Yes.
Mr. Petty?
Yes.
Mr. Sharma?
No.
Mr. Markovitz?
No. But it did pass.
There we go.
Is there a way we can require, maybe too late now since we voted, is there a way we can require the owner to come back in to talk about
Their sign
television
program?
programs?
We can reach out to them and
Because
request that if
apparently-
your board would like to speak with them.
Yeah, because I think the sign criteria really isn't a program. It doesn't really say anything about colors, types of signs, whether they have to be internal.
Understandable, yeah, I can reach out to him and
Non-union.
arrange it.
Okay.
Try to.
If I may, I know that the mayor wants all of our buildings in the city. This is what I was going to say a second ago, and I was like, I don't know, you saw me, I wanted to say something. The mayor does want all of the buildings in the city to have uniformity of their signs. So he does not want, he says, and that is one of the things that he said lacked, in his opinion, in the past, was that our signs, they all look different everywhere. And it just feels like that it just doesn't look good.
so does he want them uniform across the city, or just for each building, all signs be uniform?
I would imagine, I would let him speak to that, but I know probably both, probably more so within each building, I would think. I don't know, Jason, I don't know if you want to,
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the mayor, but I
Right.
believe you're in the right direction of what he would want, and we can discuss that at a later time then, and go over kind of what like a future sign program for the city is, which I'm sure would have to go through different boards and get voted on, I believe, so.
right. But I know that, to your point, when you said like all the signs are white and this one is no longer going to be white, I agree with you. The problem is that when you look at the sign program, it's very vague, and it doesn't speak to that at all. And it just says, that the landlord just has to approve it. So in this case, the landlord did approve it, but I don't know, I think if the landlord knew that that was the city's goal, the landlord might have felt differently,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is a subject, maybe we should have the mayor come in one day and talk to us.
He did that a couple of years ago. He came in and spoke in front of the board.
Yeah,
and
he said something.
This,
that
we
he-
talked about this stuff. I remember it, so.
Yeah, that was before he was mayor, though, right?
I think it was after he became mayor.
Was it right after
It was-
the election?
Yeah.
I know he did state that he wanted to see more uniformity in signage, but he wasn't real specific about it. But,
I don't necessarily think that this plaza has to have, that every plaza has to have the exact same sign.
yeah.
I think that's
That
unrealistic.
would be really hard to do.
Yeah, and I don't think that's what he's looking for, but within one plaza like this,
Somewhat of a uniformity.
yeah, so you've got, like you said, I agree with you, Viraj, they're all white, now this one's gonna just stand out. I also think that the fact that all the others are white and this one is not will actually take away from this sign, personally. I think it's gonna be less eye-catching, that all the others are white, and the others will catch your eyes more, I think, and this one you'll actually see it less, especially with the dark color, my opinion.
Yeah.
I know it matters not as much now that it was already voted, I was gonna speak to it, but
I mean, we did approve this as a board. You can take it with the owners and see if they want to keep the uniformity at this point. They can resubmit it, I believe, right? If they want to.
Correct, they could resubmit, yes, if they wanted to change
Resubmit
it.
with a different design, the white background, something with uniformity. They can.
So give them that
If they
option.
want to, but this is approved?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, just bring it, just tell them it was highly debated and close, and, I don't know, it might have, the vote might have ended up different if a discussion like what we had after the vote was held before the vote, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe, I won't
Oh, I
guarantee
guess,
that.
yes.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's step backwards now to case 1, 24-12-66 at 9630 Ravenna Road for Floral Innovation Signage. You could give us your name and then walk us through the sign you're doing.
Good evening, Mark Brandovic with Advanced Installation. We're proposing a set of front illuminated channel letters with a capsule reading florist, floral innovations. Sign square footage is 23.1 square feet. Color is black and white. See about that. LED illuminated.
Just the bottom part of the sign is illuminated, the florist at the top is not illuminated, or is that?
Forest is also
Oh,
illuminated.
those are individually illuminated letters?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Those are like floodlights shining on them, or just lights shining on them?
No, they're LED illuminated inside the actual
Oh.
channel letter.
So it's a black color sign.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
the florist is black, but it has an LED inside that shines.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the last picture.
Yeah, kinda,
That's what
yeah.
it'll look like.
okay.
Dark, yeah.
If today it'll be black
It
know,
reverses.
with the white letter, yeah.
That was like the one from last week. It's got the holes in it, remember, like he
Yeah.
was explaining, that it looks black during the day, but the light shines through it and looks light at night, like the one last week is my guess.
I like the sign, it's cool.
What's going to look black during the day? The background?
Like this.
The background, yeah.
This is what it looks like day and night.
Perfect. I understand. Thank you. So light, oh, okay.
And
I understand.
you will be repairing any holes and patching everything. to
Always
match
patch and paint, yes, sir.
From the existing sign.
Is there a sign program for this plaza?
Not to my knowledge, but I do not have that information.
I do not believe that we were able to find one. Or, hang on, I apologize, we did have one. I was thinking of the other sign there. It should be part of your packet.
I don't have one.
Is this it?
Yeah, I don't think
There's
we
not one in
got-
here.
There's
There's no signature.
I don't have it either.
Property owner's signature of acceptance.
No, there is, on mine, I got, there is an owner's signature.
Okay, well, here I can,
But I don't
Apologize if
have
that did
a
not make the
copy
packet.
of the signed program for that one.
That it?
Thanks for sharing.
That's what it is, okay.
It looks like the back next to it also has a black color.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's, from what I remember, because my podiatrist is there, the signage is pretty much like that. I think a lot of the signage, because I know his signage is black, and then
Yeah, it looks
has
like
the
the
holes
Met,
in white, so-
which is right next to it, you can see it in half of the picture, it's also black.
I don't know if there's a one-line or two-line requirement or anything odd like that in the program.
So according to the sign program, it says all signs are to be individual halo illuminated channel letters mounted on wireways and attached to the sign fascia of the building. No exterior or exposed illumination is permitted. Stacked or secondary rows of non-illuminated letters is allowed. So you've got florist, which I'm reading is fine, but underneath the florist innovations is not conform to that?
Yeah, that.
It sounds like
that's
it
what
is
says,
illuminated.
because that's a box sign, the bottom.
Oh, you're
half.
not talking about illumination.
No exterior or exposed
Oh,
illumination.
isn't this a box sign right here?
So, I don't know if
That's
you
the
want to
bottom
pass these down for everybody to see it.
Okay.
I didn't understand what you were concerned about.
The bottom part. It's just individual letters are permitted, but not the no exterior proposed is permitted. You have the box right here.
Oh, I
the
see.
Bottom part.
Yeah, does say that. Here.
Sorry, sir, could you
Yeah, we'll give you a copy of that. We're just gonna read it through real quick. Just put it here. We'll get you one.
Yeah, under storefront signage, it states, "All signs are to be individually halo illuminated channel letters mounted on wireways and attached to sign fascia of the building." So, in other words, a box sign like that isn't part of the program. And then, yeah, the no exterior exposed illumination, that's like the lights that we saw in the last center or anything like that exposed on the outside. And then it says you can have a secondary row of non-illuminated lettering, but not illuminated. It doesn't say not, it can't be illuminated, it just says it has to be non-illuminated.
Do you have a copy of that?
No, that was never given.
Can I make a copy in the back real quick, so that way he can have it?
Extra copies for the rest of it too.
Apologies, that wasn't.
Actually, make copies for all of us. Yeah.
So is that
Catch.
a requirement by the property owner as far as
Yeah.
his signage there? So why would he have signed off on the,
Because a lot of times they don't pay attention to that, you know, I don't know when that, we'll have to look and see when that was dated, but, you know, years back, it could have been an owner that owned the building and maybe they sold it.
Right.
The new owner took over and never just said, well, I don't want to follow this program, you know, but it's still in force, you know, because a lot of, you know, you probably heard some of it on the tail end of the other one, that a lot of our shopping centers and developments around have sign programs which, to keep the signs hopefully consistent within that center.
understood?
And the owner is the one that, you know, at the time, the owner, a lot of them were written, I think the owner came into with the ARB, went through what they wanted to do as far as consistency with their signs. The ARB helped them through it, and then you know, their criteria or their sign package for their center got voted and put into, I don't know what you would call it, not really into law, but into what, ordinance? or-
Ordinance.
Yeah.
They agreed to a set of rules.
Right.
So, and then with this, basically, the negating it, what they agreed to.
Well, that would be unfortunate if that was the case, as I have both the signed application and a release from the property owner, and without that information, you would have thought they would have paid a little closer attention, but I would like to read that, just to
Yeah.
go over.
And it would probably be good to get a copy of this to the current owner as well, if they're not aware of their own sign program.
Well, Jason,
Does that have a date on it and when it was approved, or?
You got two? Here, Jason, he's got two.
Yeah, you can give one to the property owner.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Jason, where did you get that?
We have a binder full of ordinance.
Okay, but it's not like you got it 2 days ago from the owner or anything.
No, we have copies of them when they come through, because they get voted on by the board if they're allowed.
Do you know how long it's been in there?
I do not know that.
Okay.
For future purposes, maybe like the next time when somebody else comes through, they present one of these.
It's
they
too
put
bad, too,
stamp
'cause it's a
date on
nice
it.
looking.
I know, I like it.
I understand.
So, what would the possibility of going back to the customer and having Floral Innovations be non-illuminated? Would that kind of defeat I mean, that's the name of their business, unfortunately. You would think it was,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
but the thing is, that second line, unless you put florist as the second line, does it say it has to be below it? It just
Well,
says stacked.
yeah, stacked
Or
or secondary
secondary
rows
row.
and non-illuminated.
But the,
They're bringing into,
You flip them.
but the other part of it is the, you know, it's the fact that they have to be individual channel letters, you know, and not a box sign like that is. I mean, a lot of centers at one time didn't like to have those box signs, and they like individual, three-dimensional letters or, stuff like that for their signage. That's probably why this states it the way they're stating it, that it's, that they actually, they say they have to be, individual halo illuminated channel letters.
Well, if the current property owner is not really cognizant of this thing,
They should be.
well, that makes sense, but how often, is he authorized to change this?
He would come in front of the board
Yeah.
and present it.
Okay, but he could, and the board could
Yeah,
say,
he has-
no, we're not going to accept that.
He has a right, if we turn this down today and it gets back to the landlord as to why, which hopefully it will through either you or
Absolutely.
the owner, the florist owners will gripe at them for not letting them be aware of this.
Okay,
They do have a right to revise their program or write a whole new one, that they would have to then bring to us. And if we approve that with this type of signage, then this could be done the way it is.
so,
But those are ifs, depending on what they bring and how they propose it to us, as to what they want to do.
Okay.
if the owner gives us a new one of these, are we going to talk to the subject of similar signage throughout the facility? Because we just did talk about that about 8 minutes ago or 12 minutes ago.
We can ask them to revise, if they're submitting a revised plan to us, to me, they're asking to update it, then we can ask them in turn to update the rest of the signs.
They'd be grandfathered, the signs on the
Yeah,
walls would already be
yeah.
grandfathered.
The existing tenants wouldn't be forced to change their signs, but new tenants coming in would have to meet whatever the, sign criteria
I do
state.
like the thought, though. I think what the owner's looking for, based on the way I read this, is that they don't want box lighting. They want only individual lettered lighting. And when you look from a distance, you only see that. It's possible that the owner could change this to be that, like your idea of the bottom one just be not lit, whereas you'd still would only see, but then again, the owner would have to decide that, though.
Well, or even lit. Being lit doesn't hurt it.
They want to change it.
But then you'd see a
It says it
box, is
wouldn't
what I'm
be
saying.
lit,
If you
yeah.
only want to see individual letters, then you could just light the top and keep the bottom unlit.
Yeah, you'd see the box there in front of the board.
But
I'm learning.
I think you need to wait until you discuss that with the owner, what they want to do. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah, no, we can't go through.
We would like to also bring up, if you guys, Ricky just pointed it out, the very last line of page 2, about the landlord's rights to approve something different than what's in this program.
Approval procedures.
Okay.
Well,
Landlord reserves a
Owners
right
sign it, right?
at their discretion.
that changes some things in my
Certain
mind.
Exceptions.
Yeah, it does.
Sure does.
So is this,
Oh.
I mean, you should have
You know
stated
what
that
it
in the.
does,
Partner
though?
signing it.
It opens-
Open Pandora's
Yeah,
box.
it's,
Jail-free.
Yeah, it just makes it that the landlord can do anything he wants, is really what it does.
Managing partner,
Yeah, that kind of changes the whole story, doesn't it?
property owner, okay.
You know what I would do? This is just my thoughts on it. The owner did not present this to you and you were unaware of this, which means maybe the owner does not have this, right? And I would almost, thinking out loud, think, make sure that when the owner signed that and gave the permission, that he did know about this first, even though it says that on there. If that owner doesn't know about what this states, he might not have signed that and just granted that permission otherwise. He might have said, well, we want to keep it in line. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not a voting member.
Yeah.
But, it does say that the landlord has the right to go away from this, but I don't know if the landlord knows that this exists.
Yeah, right.
And,
My 2 cents.
or was his attention, like, yes, I'm deviating, right? Was it his attention or he just approved it? If there was his intention to deviate, he should have stated that somewhere.
Right, because if he knew about it and signed it, then he's a green light for that, then
Right.
we would be a green light for it.
Other thing is, on the sign program, it says the secondary letters, the floral innovations, maximum letter height is 8 inches in the sign program, and according to what's submitted, it's close to 15. So
But
it's
again,
almost
it's a
double.
deviation, and we have no idea what the owner wanted.
He would have been.
8 to 12, right?
My only contra is he would have been given this exact sign.
Oh, sure.
To sign off on, so
I believe Mr. Post is saying that he may not know of the tenants, like the criteria that he was signing off on.
Yeah. I mean,
Is Mr. Post
it
concerned?
kind of, not to sort of push things on, it kind of sounds like to me we should,
I have a thought. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean,
Didn't mean to-
that we should make a motion, possibly, in my opinion, I don't know if I should say my opinion, but we can make a motion. If we turn the motion down to approve the sign, then the motion would be made, if it gets turned down, that the landlord needs to come in to review this with us, to make sure they understand what's going on and that they understand their own sign program for their center as to what it says and what it really means.
but on what basis would you be turning down this sign this evening? So
More than likely, it depends, I can't speak how everybody else would vote, but there's a chance that could happen.
I think he's asking what would be the reason it's not getting approved.
Well,
Correct.
we haven't taken a vote yet, so we won't know.
But you just
David, you were going to say something?
I think it's based on the fact that this current sign you submitted goes against the sign program for that plaza. I think that would be the reason. However, that's not up to me. I was going to say, could you make a motion to approve it on the contingency that the owner does have a copy of the sign program? And if the owner did have a copy of the sign program, was aware of the sign program, and that he knew about it, then they could move forward. Are there any more meetings in December?
Yeah, there's a meeting on the 19th.
Okay,
I
so,
believe, well, the third Thursday, I believe it's the 19th, yeah.
okay, so if anything, it would only delay it a couple weeks just to wait to verify for the owner. So even if it was denied, it could be resubmitted for next meeting. It's only a 2-week delay.
But the way you're wording it, it may sound like we all agree with this, the way the sign is, we like it.
If we like it, I'm saying, if the owner, so we all sounded like that if the owner was aware of this and still signed off on it, then we should be approving it tonight
Well, I have another proposition.
Okay.
We can just postpone this case
for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and then him taking the letter back to the owner. I don't think we should make the owner present himself, busy people, whatever. They can sign a simple letter, say, yes, they reviewed it, and they're okay with the proposed change. And then they come back to the board and run it as is submitted, and see if board likes it.
Yep.
Or they can say, no, we're going to stick to it and revise the sign altogether.
And if we decline it, they have to resubmit, right?
At that point, they do, yeah.
So,
Yeah, they'll, or whatever the fee is, they'll save the fee, correct?
Yeah, it'll be paid for, and we can waive the fee. I'll talk to the building commissioner, but I believe we could waive the fee.
So we can postpone it.
Resubmittal.
We'd probably
To
still
the
have
ARB
to
fee.
make a motion to postpone.
I have a question.
Yes.
Due to the reasons we're stating.
oh, it's not what we want, it's what do you want? You want to delay it, or you want us to vote on it?
Took the words right out of my mouth, so it very clearly states, what we were talking about, that the landlord reserves the right to change it. So, I would be very open to a vote, with the, requirement that I provide, something written from the landlord stating that he did have this sign, packet, this regulation, and he made the changes, having seen it.
Maybe even bring copy, have them sign the actual document and date it.
Yeah.
Because it's not even a signed and dated document. So maybe
And
if
the
he signed and dated it, then we would know that he saw it and that,
Jason.
then it's good to go.
I understand 2 weeks is 2 weeks, but it is 2 weeks loss on production on permitting time and everything, and the board seemed pretty amenable to the sign itself as presented in the packet, so I would be open to a vote, given those recommendations.
So how would that be worded?
You have
If we
to,
take a vote and
I don't know.
it gets denied,
I still
we'll have to
have to vote a little
resubmit
bit.
altogether and everything. So, ultimately, it's your choice. So we're willing to work with however you see proceed.
Well, I mean, one thing too, you know, when we have sign programs, and to me, and I hope I wasn't here 20 years ago when this sign program came through and voted on it, but if I would have seen a wording in it like is in the bottom in here, I would not have approved this sign program with wording like that, because that just
Throws everything out
throws the
there.
whole thing out.
It negates the whole program.
right.
So
Right.
I'd almost like to have the landlord in here to go over this and make sure they understand it, you know, for the future.
But is that the, excuse me, is that would that be the same issue as this sign that I'm presenting in front of you today? Like his sign program, is that the same issue as the sign that I brought in for you
Well,
guys?
that's where it gets confusing, because the sign doesn't meet the heart of the program, but it meets the fact that the landlord just says, well, I can approve anything I want.
And we don't know he actually saw it.
And
And it's multiple things, it's not just one thing, right? It's the bottom
The
part
size of
being
the letter.
illuminated, the letters has to be 8 inches, it's, 15 over here. There's a couple of things, that's just a quick reading. If I would've had some more time to go through it, I'm sure some of us will find maybe another thing or two. So,
So,
I just,
Next meeting's in 2 weeks?
It's on the 19th, yes.
2
Okay.
weeks.
so,
Take a vote on 2 weeks.
you want to
So are we
make a
deferring
motion?
it?
Because I don't know how to word it.
so,
Is it-
do you want us to take a vote on it, or do you want us to postpone it?
If it can be tabled, then I will get this to the,
That'd be easier.
I'll make a motion to table this case until the next meeting, whenever would that be?
I second that.
with one note on there that we would like to see the landlord in to talk about it.
if I get you, I mean, is that necessary, as they were just discussing, I mean, is it necessary to have him come in for this? If I get you a written
Yeah,
statement?
written would be fine. I'm okay with
Well,
that.
I don't,
I'd rather have them in.
I feel different about that, because I know how the landlords don't care. Landlords just want to rent the space and get the money. Sorry, landlords out there,
Yeah.
but I've dealt with them for my whole career. as
The only
well.
thing is if he's not available for that
And
2
a lot of
weeks.
them are my clients, so I know how they do. And I would also like to have this sign plan amended and take that line out of there. And it can be reworked to word it where this sign is an okay sign for there.
So what is that process for him like then? I mean, he comes in, what, in 2 weeks if he's available and
well-
it's voted on here?
Yeah, he would have to spend some time to look at this and look at the signage that's proposed, that you're proposing. And if he likes that, if that sign, if he wants to stay with what this is, then that sign would not be approved. If he wants to come in and modify this, and he can present to us, okay, I want to allow this type of lettering, and doing it this way, and the sizes can be, different sizes and heights from what is specified in here. And if he can present something to us that we approve, then that, this could then be pulled back on,
So David,
brought up and voted on again.
As written though, does this conflict with any of Twinsburg's sign regulation, that's specifically that statement at the end? Does that conflict with any of your zoning regulations that he can, if he wants to allow an exception?
Not that I'm aware of, but I
No,
don't
I mean, the sign itself meets the criteria for where it's located at for zoning.
It does.
So then.
Correct.
But isn't that hanging?
As of-
If,
Yes.
if the sign meets the regulations, isn't this hanging that sign on a separate issue altogether, which is his sign regulations of his plaza? It's making the sign contingent upon a larger issue with his,
I mean, it's just, he came in front of the board and agreed on a sign program with us, whoever may be at that point, you know, and now we're just saying, hey, we agreed with the sign, so let's just stay within the sign program. If you want to change it, that's fine, just come in front of us with a revised plan, and we'll listen to you again.
That's a standard procedure for a landlord to bring the
Yes.
sign program to the board first,
Yes.
in person?
If you
Or
change
they
it,
can have a
Yeah,
representative,
they
but
can have a representative that
Like to speak on their behalf.
they,
Yeah.
yeah.
but then if it's not being changed, I guess that's more my question. If he doesn't want to omit that line, if he wants to leave it as is, that he has the right to do so, that sign program was already agreed upon here. So if he doesn't want to change it, what would be the reason that he would be?
Then you can just take it ask us to vote on it.
Okay.
And then whichever way it leans,
Or what if he changes it?
then.
What if he makes a change to the program such that the size of the lettering and everything complies with the current design, and he leaves that sentence in there? We would not approve it, but then he could take that.
It needs a clarity.
A little away from there. It's bent,
Pardon
the
us a
wire's
minute.
bent, I think.
I'll keep that on the record.
The wire's bent a little bit.
see what you did?
it'll come out through tab. Put
Are
on
the
your tab.
others working? Hello, I guess.
I suppose then that's more clear. If he doesn't want to alter anything, and since he's already brought his sign program in front of you guys, I can just represent that sign in 2 weeks and then get a vote one way or the other.
Correct.
Okay.
What's that do to
Yeah.
you personally in your business, if I may ask?
I'm sorry?
What does that do to you, this one, what does that do to your business?
As far as, like
I just want to know, that's all.
Well,
I want to
it's-
understand that. I think it's-
I'm presenting a sign, I'm not presenting a sign program.
I'm sorry.
That one?
Is it?
Just speak loud, I can turn the mics off.
Yeah, so I'm not affiliated with his plaza. I'm presenting this sign to you, so what it has to do is we're the installer, I'm not the landlord.
Actually, I'll tell you what, why don't you speak into a different mic? Because that won't,
It was mine.
that's yours?
Yeah.
It's fine now.
It was yours?
I don't know. Hey, yes, I took it out and it worked.
I just unplugged that one.
We are having some technical difficulties here.
Right. All right, we're all good?
Better? I think it might be this one.
Might be that one. I'll tell you what, so you stay there, watch this. Take this one, we'll plug this one over there, you two can share.
Well, actually, you could take, well, here, you can probably use that one.
Just watch your head there.
It's a heated discussion, that's why.
Gonna bust it.
All right, here. You can use my mic.
We can use this one over here.
Yeah, this,
There you go.
Yeah, you go there.
There you go.
That way, all right, yeah. So, sorry, to answer your question, at work, the installers, it wouldn't be an issue that I could address anything with. So essentially, I'm going back to the owner stating, you know, you need to come in now and alter that, but that's, I mean, it's adding a bunch of steps on
I
it.
didn't ask my question very clearly.
Sorry.
Are you making the sign or installing it, or both?
No, we don't fabricate, we don't fabricate this sign. This will be sent to us. We're just the installers on this project. We do fabricate, but just not for this.
So this
Okay,
sign's
so-
not fabricated yet? It's
No, not without approval, not without a
They
permit, yeah.
fabricate them ahead of time.
Yes, they do, and that's
And
that's often,
wise.
that's often a mistake. That
Yeah.
can be a very expensive mistake, so, yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
I was concerned that the thing was already fabricated.
No, sir, not to my knowledge. I can't guarantee it because as stated, it's happened before, but my advice to everybody, because I'm asked on almost a routine basis, should we put this into production? And I said, no, I don't have a permit yet, so please don't do so, is always my answer. You know, it's never my advice to do that,
Right.
so. But I'm willing to come back in 2 weeks.
Okay, great.
All right.
And we'll reach out to the owner. In the meantime, you'll get hold of the owner
Yeah.
and talk to him. The city will
I'll
call
try
and
to, yes.
contact the owner and make sure that the owner's up to snuff on all this stuff. And, you know,
All right.
Okay.
So then,
So we had a motion,
vote, right?
Yeah.
Boy, they're all going crazy now.
Okay.
we had a
and
motion and a
You already made a
second.
motion to
Blame me.
table
Table
it,
it.
and you seconded it?
Yeah, I second it.
correct, yes.
Yeah, it's been motion.
You're gonna fix
Okay,
this.
so now we vote.
Seconded.
Oh, we're gonna need one.
You're gonna resubmit.
Mr. Petty?
this is a motion
To
to
de-
table it for 2 weeks,
Delay, yes.
just so you know what you're voting on.
Yes.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
you too.
Very professional. It's professional. I like that.
No condition.
There's, hold on, say something.
Is your mic working? Maybe talk a little closer. It sounds like I can't.
Mine? Hello?
There you are. It sounds
Yeah.
like, yeah, talk closer to the mic if you would.
Okay.
Because it doesn't, he always yells at us
I
to,
think he had his phone in his pocket. It was feedback loop.
oh, you think? Could be. I'll try plugging it back in.
See if it's mine.
The only thing where we may reach some issues,
Sorry?
the only place where we may reach some issues, which is why I hate those kind of clauses in the last
Yeah,
sentence in here.
it definitely needs a
is
clarity.
because the sign meets their criteria, current criteria. Statement that the landlord put down there at
Yeah.
the bottom.
He had a phone in his upper pocket.
We also don't know if this was the landlord that owned the building when it was signed
That's true.
or created.
Yeah, so
Can the city insist that it not have a clause like that at the end?
That would be up to you guys to vote on the
Okay.
sign programs.
I think that
I
would
mean,
be.
otherwise, what's the point of even having a sign?
I know,
if
it's
you're
like a whole document.
I know, that's,
You have the whole document and say,
wonder-
this document doesn't mean anything.
I wonder how many other sign programs we have. You have back there in your file, have that same thing at the.
I don't,
I mean, I'm not
I'm
saying
not
don't
aware
pull them
of
all
it,
out
yeah.
and read every one, but
We want to check them all for before next meeting.
Go ahead, we're open all day tomorrow.
You know, I think the reason for a sign program is exactly what Mayor Scafidi is looking for. The owner might not care about all the signs being different. The owner could sign off on everything, but we, the city, have to look at it. And I know the mayor wants uniformity, so that way it looks good in the city. So it's not necessarily about what the owner wants. They're doing business in our city.
Right.
And the mayor wants it to look uniform. Having that clause completely negates a sign program.
I mean, to be honest with you, I like that sign.
Yeah.
A beautiful sign.
It's a beautiful sign.
It's not the sign the
It's a
problem.
nice sign. So, if it would have met its own guidelines, yeah, who knows?
Right.
yeah. I know, like I said, I'm so used to that, you know, being an architect and working for developers, and
Pretty cool.
we do their center, and then we'll try to work a sign program for them. And then they get all ticked off about it. No, I just want to approve what they want to put up there. You know, and we did I did malls and big shopping centers, I mean, huge, you know, 1 million square foot malls and large shopping centers is where we did a lot of our work. And so I know how they can be.
Sure. The only thing I might recommend, Jason, on that first one that was passed tonight, is to contact the owner and make them aware of the concerns that we had, that everything is white, and while the sign is fine, it is not going to be a uniform sign, just to make sure they're aware of that, and make sure that, you know, what it's going to actually do is detract from their sign, I think, because all of those whites will stick out to the eye, the white signs, and theirs will not, and see if they were, just make sure that they were aware of that You know, again, that might have been good to do. The sign itself was fine. It met their sign program. I don't know, I just might follow up, see if they still want a sign. Because even the, on the inside where it said the hours and everything, for, I don't know if you saw it, there was a thing that said you could state your business hours in there. It had to be white and red and black, just like all the signs. So I don't know if that was just missed, or, I don't know. I just think it'd be a good idea.
Okay. Yeah, I can reach out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Can we move forward if there's no questions? I want to have a discussion at the end.
oh, well, so
For all of us?
you
Yeah.
want to do it now or
Yeah, I
after?
just want to go through the,
After we approve the minutes and?
yeah,
And then
Adjourn?
after the adjournment.
go through, we don't have any absent members, so. Okay, so let's review approval of the minutes for November 21st. Any corrections or oversights or
I don't.
additions, anybody see need to be done?
I didn't see anything.
Okay, I didn't either. They look okay.
I'll make a motion to approve November 21st, 2024 minutes. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mrs. Wales?
Yes.
Mr. Katrip?
Yes.
Mr. Petty?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes. All right, we don't have any absent members, so we don't need to worry about that part. And next is adjourn, you want to adjourn before?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Sharma?
Yes.
Mr. Wales? Mrs. Wales, I apologize.
Yes.
Mr. Katrip?
Yes.
Mr. Petty?
Yes.
Mr. Markovitz?
Yes.